Hello and welcome everyone. This is Blackadder at Blackadder's Place, and well, today I'm here with the first match of the Frozen Times tournament. It's going to be between the Jungle Lions, represented this time by Arafam, Brenos aka Torgale, and Blaze aka Flame, and against them will be standing Sons of Durin, and they are represented by Mikahei, Bestuvsak EUV, and Legend Jarl. So, you should be seeing quite an interesting match, as this is definitely the first one, so of course we are not really sure what the prepare strategies are going to be for the players in here, and the map is definitely going to be Ghost Lake, as you can see, and that is the home map of the higher seeded team, and that's of course in this case the Jungle Lions. Well then, we are going to be ready to actually play. We might just as well play in Conquest, or just don't go on there. Yeah, because the settings for the tournament are exactly as we are playing on Conquest. But otherwise, the maps to be chosen are just the ones that actually feature some kind of snow. So Ghost Lake is of course one of them, and then there are other 8 maps that are able to be chosen by the players in here, but we are going to be seeing if they are going to be chosen by the other opponents and other teams in the other matches. So we are having, of course, quite interesting civilizations in here, as one of the next rules is that we actually cannot triple civ in here. So we are having Oranos Thor Odin and Oranos Zeus Loki. Interesting civilizations right there. And we are starting and have a look at the Brenos. First one to have a look at. So yep, we have a bit of extra information in here from the observer maps, and we see that the pretty nice placement of the bars right on the right side is definitely going to be helping Torgale, as he is in the pocket, and that's not really a bad choice, because Oranos in the pocket will mean that he will be able to advance pretty soon and have pretty strong heroic age against his opponents. Otherwise, on the left we have starting position of Arafa as Zeus, also going for the bars, and so far he doesn't really see all of them. He sees just one, but he should be seeing the or rather he should be having the extra ones just in the darkness, and I'm kind of curious why he isn't already going there with the Kataskopos. He was probably hoping that they are going to enter the line of sight. Exactly like this, as he is probably just halfway through the board, so pretty nicely gauged in here, and otherwise finding something extra behind him like berries, hunt, and very safe gold. Actually, a lot of the gold in here is safe. You can see 3 very nice gold mines for him, but same could be true for the opponents, as you can see already hunt in here and the gold, so yep, you'd be expecting extra golds behind the bases of them as well. Moving on to the last player from the Jungle Lions, Blaze aka Flame, who is also having the boars in here and of course taking care of them just by the start. And well, you can see already that the Sons of Durins are talking a bit about strategy, and they are wanting to play this safe and help each other once they are under attack, which is definitely going to be happening because of not only the aggressive civilizations, but also because of the level of the opponents, who are basically seeded as one of the top 4 in the tournament. Well, in the forefront for yellow, we are seeing pretty nice hunt and berry, so I'm thinking this is a pretty good spot for him to potentially advance onto quite early, especially since there is a gold and a TC. Something he should be really taking care of, and we are going to be switching, for example, for Legend Jarl on the other side of the map, who is also making sure that the boars are quite plentiful for him due to the great hunt, and yeah, this is definitely going to last him for quite some time. Otherwise, we have already seen the hunt and berries at the back, so he's definitely having a lot of it in there. In the front, not much anything, so he isn't forced into all that much of an aggressive build and such. First relic. Better caravans in here, but I'm not really thinking the game is going to be all that reliant on hunt, or rather, on trade, sorry. As of course, we are seeing a lot of Norse and such. Not really any Egyptians, as red player is just now finishing with the bars, but going to move in for the Caribous pretty soon, once he finishes with the last one in the vicinity of his DC. So far, dropping a temple, as we are at 3 minutes, so that's pretty much a standard 4:30 advance time, having 2 small gold mines in his base, of course, as we are on Ghost Lake, and temple being dropped, of course, by the last player from SonsOfDurin as well, having berries kinda goes through TC, or rather, no, yeah, TC and the tower as well, so not really bad. And much more importantly, he's still having the boars on the right. And where is he going to move from there? Nothing in the middle, in between the players, so potentially the berries in the front, or maybe the hunt in here. He's already in here. So, yep, that's definitely something that he will be happy about, and might want actually to scout about here. I'll be thinking there is actually hunt hidden in here, looking at the spawn of the map on the other side, and at the bottom, I'll be really expecting there's some extra hunt hidden in here, and he should definitely be quite careful about it, as already Arafang is moving in, and that's discovering. Is he actually discovering a hunt or just some kind of lone caribou? Probably just some lone caribou. So let's check, for example, for the extra relics. Foot trickle on left would have been better. Favor trickle. That's not actually all that bad, even though it's not that huge trickle. It's still free favor and better archer ballista, kiro ballista, pierce attack. That's one of the better ones. And last relic, village of wood and gold cat raids. That's actually pretty great. We are already seeing a bit of walling coming in, and we should be also seeing advantages or other advances from the players. Rafan going for Hermes, so that's going to be a bit of centaur raiding, especially since we see already this guy praying. Second one is probably going to be joining in, as we have seen a dead oracle, fortunately for Mikahei. So it's looking like that he's having a bit more problems with the Valor. Probably gonna be waiting right about now for his early units. And well, finishing with the wall-in, you can see that Arafang not really trying to underestimate anything. They are definitely paying enough attention to their opponents, the same as they are doing themselves. So far, Loki, or rather Odin just now advancing through Heimdall. Interesting choice in here. And well, that will mean that he is probably aiming for some kind of raiding, which would be expected from Odin. And his cavalry already scouting with Raven quite nicely behind Yellow's base, and Yellow is so far having as Loki not double tempo, just one tempo and one longhouse. So is he going to be switching into some throwing axeman potentially? Maybe a bit later. At the start I would be expecting a Hercer's, but hello! Well, that's different. Raiding cavalry right off the start, as he's also building second longhouse basically to make some kind of wall. Not a bad idea at all. And here we are seeing a bit of raiding on the hunt from Brenos, aka Torgel on Mikahei, but not really all that much of a problem, as, of course, Manor is already up. Sturma heroes are going to mop up those two Prometheans without any kind of problem. If they can actually catch them. Well, they can. They have 33 more speed, but still, not really ideal at all. And he really needs to be careful, as the army is already coming in. Yep, Mikahei quite well aware that raiding is coming into place. At the back, right now Arafang just now discovering where the extra hunt is, so potentially allowing his allies to see where they should be going, as a bit of raiding from Flame is already coming into place. Well, if they can actually find something to kill. See Best Ulfsag just now killing the hunt in here, so that his opponent doesn't have it all that much, and that's basically because he knows he's not going to be allowed to gather from that, so he at least wants to make sure that his opponent doesn't either. Yep, that's that. Going to be arriving at the bottom with a bit of help to the Ulfsark Raiden from Legend Jarl, so that's strategy made popular by Temista, and let's see if that's going to be working against the Loki, but it actually could. Because you can see that Flame has actually gone for the Raiding Cavalry, which is going to be quite nicely countered by all those Ulfsarks. So yeah, that might be actually a pretty big problem for the Flame player, but otherwise we see that Mikahei is under pretty heavy attack right about now by Centaurs from Arafa, and of course that's going to be a pretty big problem because Micro is going to be quite impeccable, even though he has to be careful, as Mikahei, both with his teammate Best Ulfsar, are paying quite a lot of attention. So one Centaur dead, second really needs to somehow run away, and Best Ulfsark EUV is already in the opponent's bases because Arafang hasn't been able to finish with the wall, and that could be a pretty big problem because right now they'll be having a free reign in here and maybe even potentially stop the second TC that Torgale is right now trying to take for himself. Forest fire at the top, and that's a very good forest fire for two reasons. First is of course forcing off the wood willies, killed one, or actually quite more. 1, 2, 3, about four villages, the fifth almost dead. So that was pretty strong forest fire. And much more importantly, he's basically making walling impossible for Blaze. And that will mean that there's going to be basically freeway into the opponent's bases for SonsOfDurin, and that's very nicely played by them. On the left, this is kinda evolving 2-2v2. You can see best Ulfsark with Mikahei doing a pretty good job against Arafan with Brennos so far. Even though the economy will quite probably be better for the ARF guys from the Jungle Lions. Pretty good army right now by Torgale, trying to get rid of Mikahei. It shouldn't be really all that tough, and the second siege just now finished, and we are probably going to be having a bit of time at least to check the economy upgrades in Dax and Pickaxe for Brennos, which is not half bad for him. And exactly, especially with the towers now, this is confirming what we said at the start, with the pocket player Zoranos being a pretty good option for them. Well, Ulfsarks right now raiding exactly through the empty spot of the burned forest. But he needs to be careful as throwing axemen are already making their way into the opponent's army, and well, so far that's pretty much it, and Mikahei seems to be joining in here, so it's definitely a good idea from the SonsOfDurin, as Flame is going to be the weakest player in here so far, not only because any kind of raiding or anything, he's not really playing bad, but because the early unit choice wasn't really all that great, especially for what he was facing right now. Tempting right now to wall a bit, because he needs to protect the front TC together with the gold, and also the extra hunt and such. So that's something that potentially Legend Yara will be seeing. And oh my, this is getting quite tricky right about now for the Jungle Lions, because this is a pretty big army, and if best Ulfsark UV actually could get in the medium cavalry, so far not, fortunately, as he's at least the second TC potentially going for heroic sometime soon. Playing pretty well. This could be, oh well, pretty big raiding together with the Ulfsarks from Legend Yarrow. And there are a lot of villages actually to be killed in here, and that's, oh, right now in. Weird that I actually didn't see the upgrade. Maybe there's some kind of extra longhouse somewhere I didn't see. Not sure. Maybe it was just exactly I was looking at the time when it was researched, but this was definitely needed from Arafang, because this was a pretty big threat on both losing a ton of gold villages for a flame and also basically losing all the army, because this army from red together with green is just too strong and too well diversified to deal with the yellow threat. Second DC finished for Arafan as well. As you can see, same is the case for Mikahei. So far it's looking like a pretty equal game, but the third DC is right now attempted by Arafan. And can he finish before the time is up? 15 seconds. No, he cannot. But with this amount of centaurs, he could still do some pretty decent damage. But looking at the favorite, or the Valord guys, that's not really going to be easy. And oh, oh man, this might cost him a lot of villages. A lot of, at least some. And unfortunately, they're not really all that slow for him. And he wasn't able to maneuver properly to stop their trade, rather their route into home. So there's going to be at least 2 of them dead. Not half bad. Oh, the third one. Pretty good raiding indeed, and definitely proving that this game is not going to be as easy as maybe potentially the Jungle Lions hoped. Raiding in here, but unfortunately for Arafan, Ulfsark is just back into his own base with all the army. Not really sure that all this army is actually needed for this, but at the same time, with proper micro, those 5 centaur polymers could definitely be killing. Like basically the whole army in here. Basically the whole army. So far, seems to be going quite well for us, as it's a pretty engaging game, as we are seeing that Torgale is trying to basically secure the TC, but that's not really happening, as the front TC of Arafan is right now going to be stolen. That's quite nicely played so far, and well, once it is secure in Mikahei's power, good luck actually Jungle Lions getting rid of that, because they are so far not really doing all that well, and even though they are doing a pretty good job with raiding, at least they attempt to do so. Legend Yarrow going to be at 2 pretty soon, but Blaze is through Bragi, and that might be one of the turning points in the battle, because flamey weapons are of course going to be making quite a huge difference in the game. Is actually Red already through? No, he isn't. That's a bit of a shame, because he right now clicking into Bragi. I was just thinking that he's actually having a pretty big army and he's not losing any units, so he should be having quite a good amount of resources to actually invest into something else. And well, oh, This is cheeky. This is cheeky by a Legend Jarl, as he's already building towers around the front TC of their opponents. That's a front for Brenos. And he's already quite nicely. Oh my. Guarding the back TC of Blaze, and I'm fairly sure that Flame is actually going to be severely surprised by this pretty soon. And oh well, he's going to be sorely disappointed when he goes for the back TC. That's going to be quite surprising for him. The boars, of course, making quite a lot of difference, as they are basically a packed shockwave in a tank. So that's of course always a pretty good unit. Torgale next into the heroic age, and well, SonsOfDurin should be hurrying into the next ages as well, because so far they are going to be having just the red player, with blue right now investing quite heavily into the 30C, but he's also housed. So he should be having right now quite enough resources, especially since going for the armory. So yep, that should be something that will be next in his gameplay. But so far it isn't, and of course the birdies are going to be making a difference, especially in the fight against all those Urusarks taken to flight just now. And so far, even though it might seem that actually SonsOfDurin are having more of this game, we mustn't forget that the experience is definitely on the side of the Jungle Lions, and so far I'm thinking that Arafan and Brenos are taking this quite carefully and basically just booming and such in safety behind their walls and making sure that once they arrive from their shells, they are going to be basically unstoppable. Copper shields, at least for right now Brenos, whereas the green player Legend Jarl is also having copper shields. Not half bad, as blue is making an advance into opponent's base as well. But well, we see the copper shields, we have seen that research, but much more importantly, oh, switch into Turmas, or rather Kontarai from Brenos, and already medium Hipicons from Arafan, and that's of course a pretty strong army, and the reason why Greece can stay in the classical age for as long as they can. Okay, those Kontarai are probably going to be making a difference, even though they have of course been nerfed in the Wobbly Balance patch 2.0. Lower attack and lower bonus against buildings. They really shouldn't be as effective as they have been in the past, and this is a pretty important battle because let's switch into the right side, as this is definitely aiming for the victory. For the victory of the Jungle Lions. But here we see that the flaming weapons for Blaze are in, and that definitely is resulting into Best Ulfsark running away into some kind of raiding, and of course the green player should be running as well, as fighting against flaming weapons is not a good idea at any time of the day. Fortunately, probably going to be losing the board in here. Best Ulfsark, not really ideal for him. And Tartaringate at the top, and Brenos dealing damage to the opponent's economy. And this is a pretty good spot, because not only is it annoying in the base, of course, it's stopping most of the food gathering, which is, you can see, 6 farms idle for an Atlantean. That's pretty deadly, but of course this is going to be possibly even killing the town center, as those guys are pretty strong and he has absolutely no army at the back. Oh, this is a bad idea for Best Ulfsark to fight this, but right now flaming weapons are dissipating, so the battle should be turning a bit better, but still, of course, he's fighting against a Loki and he's spawning all those boars, so not really any kind of great idea, and those guys seems to be pretty safe with the second TC being captured by Blaze. Arafang right now through Heroic, through Apollo, so I'll be fully expecting that he will be jumping into Mythic pretty soon. He should be having pretty good economy right about now, and yep, this is definitely something that needs to be done, as Best Ulfsarks together with Legend Jarl need to somehow protect the TC, otherwise it's going to be easily coming under the power of Blaze, who is having a pretty strong army and also pretty good economy, looking at it. Not really all that many upgrades, just Plow and Pickaxe. It could be doing a bit better in that regard, but here we see actually a fast Titan going in by Torgale, and oh well, that's going to be pretty tough for SonsOfDurin to get rid of, especially actually right now with the Ragnarok from the Thor player. Let's see about that. Bronze Shields Copper Mail, that's not half bad. Let's check how many villages he's actually having. 89. Oh, that's cool. He's already having trade route, that's 9 extra, but it's not really half bad. And here we go with a bit of raiding, and Nidok is gonna be having a bit of barbecue. Yeah, well played. You can see because of the spy. Placed here a bit earlier. And that's pretty problematic because that's about 15-20 villagers dead. Rather dead. Not doing anything at least, but a lot of them dead, especially since they stopped. And some extra farms will be stopped by that as well. Oh well, green, careful, careful. Run away. This dude is pretty dangerous for you. And he's going to be pretty problematic as well. Bit of raiding right now by Rafa, as the Ragnarok is being called, because he doesn't have anything to deal with flying units, he doesn't have throwing axemen, and only Besulsak does have a few of them, and potentially fire giants, but that's pretty much it. And that means that this guy is going to be pretty problematic, as we don't really see any kind of effective stuff happening on the left from the blue player. So far heavy defense from Brenos, as he's trying to protect the Titan Gate that is going to be coming up. And here we see that most of the heroes of Ragnarok are actually coming to the left, and with flaming weapons without already the ceasefire that has been cast a lot earlier to protect the base and economy of Blaze is going to be... Oh! This is some timing from Arafam. Oh man, this is double problem right now for Besulsak, because not only is he going to lose a ton of heroes of Ragnarok, which is pretty brutal, Lightning Storm of course, he's of course basically without any kind of chances of attack with the flaming weapons, and they are going to be basically useless for like at least half a minute, so that's a really big problem. Yep, not really idea at all. Arafang is though going to be losing a TC because of the Undermine being cast in here, but let's see if the Titan is going to be able to stand against all those heroes of Ragnarok. It could actually be a pretty big slaughter. If he plays this correctly, he needs to place this correctly, he needs to save all those heroes of Ragnarok and go for the Titan and basically kill him just by them. You can see TC Raiden in full strength right now, even though it's much weaker. You can see it's taking them ages to take down the fortified TC. But still, they are a threat not to be underestimated, and Besulsak really should be taking care of this, because that's a big problem, and still Arafang, or other Blaze Nidhogg still very much alive, and making life difficult for the opponents, as the back TC is going to be captured by base as well. So where's the Titan? And where are the heroes of Ragnarok? Huh, kinda dead. Barely kinda deadish. You can see basically none of them available. Just a blue army in here with pretty good pellets, trying to get rid of everything. But right now, with all the heroes of Ragnarok basically dead, and Brenos doing a pretty good job getting rid of them so that they cannot kill Titan. This is very nicely played by Thorgale. It's going to be a pretty big problem, because of course Besulsak is going to be without any kind of economy, as he has cast the Ragnarok. And, well, without extra TCs, without economy, yep, definitely not good news for him, and he's going to be losing even extra TCs, I'm fairly certain about it, unless he's helped by his teammate like Blue. But Blue is probably quite interested in somehow conquering the base of Arafan, who is at 0 TCs right about now. You can see he has lost the one at the back as well. A bit of raiding, but the heroes of Ragnarok still continuing, trying to keep Brenos at least 2 TCs. Make a hay right now. Yeah, not really sure why. Probably his teammates said something to him, but he is at least going for a bit of raiding into the middle, trying to maybe even kill the TCs from Yellow. But in the meantime, Yellow is making doing all he can. Look at right now with Nidhogg fighting in here against the throwing axeman and somehow conquer the front TC of his opponents. So far doing a pretty good job. Yeah, attempting to stop the trade is something that will help them, of course, as the gold is slowly running out. And here we see a quite nicely used Frost, as it will give a Legend Jarl a bit of extra time to maybe even upgrade. He's having just medium still, and copper weapons, copper shields, which could definitely be slightly better even with the switch into Jarls. Already Ulf Jarls. As an Odin, of course, that makes perfect sense for him. So Titan on the left, barely lost 500 points, so he's going to be killing basically the front base of PKH without any kind of problems. It shouldn't be really all that tough, especially since it seems like that PKH isn't having enough resources to make heroes. And here we go, with Vortex at the back and get rid of the fire giants. They are actually trying to prevent killing of their trade. Not a bad idea, especially with the Heka Gigant. He could be going for the TC now, I think. As there's... Oh, has he actually missed it? That's a bit of a shame, because this is definitely a pretty good spot for 18. 22 gold will easy to be killing Flame's economy basically all together. But of course, Legend Jarl and Vestal Sark need to be careful about their own bases, because they are under pretty heavy attack by the yellow player, and he seems to be doing it quite well so far. There are medium throwing axemen still, could be doing better, and no military upgrades, just copper mail. So at this point it doesn't really matter that Legend Jarl and Vestal Sark aren't having all that many upgrades either. Or rather, the green player we have seen from red, at least in his Ragnarok, having pretty good upgrades. And we should probably see that Arafang is already going into bronze and will be having iron pretty soon, and he'll be getting back on his feet with having 2 TCs, and quite probably going to be advancing onto the 3rd TC pretty soon, as he's trying to first make sure that it is his by the fortress. At the back there's still a bit of raiding and some remaining heroes of Ragnarok going on, trying to somehow kill the TCs, but probably not for much longer, obviously, as Flame's Nidog has been just killed, because of course the Paspis are going to make a short deal of them, and you can see this is a pretty good idea by Legend Jarl, both deny the gold and potentially even some kind of good trade route. Brenos finishing with a TC. At the back probably. Right now at 3. And on the left, there's going to be a 3rd TC right now for Arafa. And, well, yet another. Ragnarok is going to be coming in right now from the green player. Looking at Legend Jarl, economy 83. It's going to be pretty decent, but does he have the economy military upgrades? Bronze, not half bad. So that could be a pretty big problem right about now, as even though the Titan is definitely wrecking all the bases, right now dropping Mikahe to just 1 TC. Surrender with dignity already thinking about actually giving up because of the Titan, because he cannot kill it. But still, the Ragnarok could be a pretty strong play for his team, but unfortunately looking at the base of Blaze quite nicely prepared with all the army and such, it's really pretty tough for him to be expecting that he could be beaten by the Ragnarok just by itself. Still probably going to be attempted by Legend Jarl and Ulfsark. But you can see that Brenos is right now switching to the right side to help fully with the Kontara and such. Champions, bronze, copper. Still some upgrades missing in here that could be useful for him, but at least we see heavy throwing axemen from Blaze, and that will most definitely help with the Ragnarok coming his way. And that's going to be a pretty big one. Pretty big one indeed. In the meantime, Migahe's base is of course still having troubles with the Titan, who is dropped to at least 5,000 hit points. Still more than twice of that to come, fortunately for him, and that's of course going to cost him also a trade. And that will mean that not really any kind of extra economy for Legend Jarl or Vestal Sark to help them under the Ragnarok that they have cast a bit earlier. Yeah, Vestal Sark right now, as the green army is arriving and the opponent's base is resigning, as they are recognizing that the game has been lost, even though they did do a pretty great job against supposedly much stronger opponents, and they make their life quite difficult indeed. But we mustn't forget though that this was the home map actually of Jungle Alliance, so we are going to be seeing a home map of Sons of Durin in the next game, and Mikahe next to resign, and well, of course, Legend Jarl is quite probably wanting to be having a bit of fun with all those heroes of Ragnarok and killing two extra Morphys at the end. Well, so let's enjoy the last minutes and maybe even seconds of this game. The green guys are just wrecking absolutely everything in their path. Yeah, doesn't really matter, and it wouldn't count anyway. Because the game is supposed to be Conquest, so GG. Very nice game. Very nice initial game for the Frozen Times tournament, and we are definitely looking forward to the second game in the set. So let's check the post game, where Brenos as the Pocket Oranos understandably having the highest score. But I would really say that I really liked how Sons of Durin play overall. So I'm not really all that sure that I would award MVP to any of the Jungle Lions, but much more probably, possibly best Ulfsark wasn't really half bad. and Legend Jarl either. They were playing quite well indeed. And the early advance of Mikehei on his opponent's Arafam, that was quite gutsy. Really, no afraid, rather no fear at all. Again, the best economy for Arafang, but that's kinda expected. Even though he was at 2 TCs, he was just quite nicely defending and booming in security of his base behind the walls, and he definitely knew what he was doing. Good efficiency by Brenos, 95 against 179. The drops with Ragnaroks, of course. But really, nicely played, and GG.